How do you view God? You might have heard pieces of my testimony here and there, and I share at times about how when I very first came to the Lord, I was scared of Him in some good ways and some bad ways. In some ways, I viewed God as a big angry man in the sky with a stick who was ready to thump me every time I made a mistake. My view from actually my earthly father actually carried over into my view of God, but I also had a view of God that came from men in church, growing up in church, and just also even my own mind, my own assumptions in some ways. And I want us to talk about this a little bit because if you think about it, when it comes to your view of the world, your view of others, your view of yourself, because God is your creator and God is the creator, under all of that, foundationally, the way we view God, who we believe Him to be, what we think about how He responds to us or what He thinks of us becomes foundational and the root core, the depths of who we are. So this is a serious topic. I'm going to give you an exercise by the end of this video that I highly encourage you to do, because even though it may seem elementary, it's going to literally cause you to be able to go down and under into the core of your belief system. And we will be talking about belief systems along the way throughout this journey. Welcome to this healing course. There is a whole lot I have to share with you, and this is going to be a power-packed course. So brace yourself, but prepare yourself to dig in, to be ready to grow, be ready to heal, be ready to gain some freedoms, be ready to gain some insights and some powerful exercises and tools along the way that is going to help build you, and in turn going to help build a life that you want to be able to go after with God. Okay. Now, the only way this works is through God and prayer, and through doing some of the exercises, being honest with yourself. Now, if you live somewhere where you're afraid to journal, you're afraid to do exercises that they may be found, I encourage you to do the exercises and journal them, burn them, flush them down the toilet, get rid of them, whatever, but put it on paper. There is a whole different part of the brain that is engaged and a whole different part of understanding and insight that comes when we actually take the time to write things down versus when we try to hold it in our mind. Oftentimes, people who bypass the exercise of actually journaling and writing things down, they do not glean near as much as what those who write things down do, okay? Not to mention, if you're able to write things down and journal things and keep it over a period of time and then look back on it, you will be able to look and see tremendous growth where all of a sudden things such as how you view God transformed and changed along the way. Okay, so let's talk about this. How do you view Him? I viewed Him as somebody who was angry. I viewed Him as somebody who had like some stick or some weapon and was going to thump me every time I messed up, even if I didn't know any better. Okay, that's just how I viewed Him. I also viewed Him as unapproachable. And I thought that I was such a sinner and I was such a bad person that I could not go to Him. So in no way, shape, or form did I view Him as a loving earthly father. Okay, so I want to encourage you to write down about 7 or 8 things that you think about God. When I say to you, how do you view God? I want you to write down 7 to 8 things. Don't sit and overthink this. Be genuine and honest, up and out of the heart, up and out of you quickly. What is your view of God? Do you view Him as strict? Do you view Him as angry? Do you view Him as holy? Do you view Him as loving? Do you view Him as gracious, kind, merciful, forgiving? Do you view Him as someone who has a standard that you can't attain? Do you view Him as someone who is worthy of honor, who is worthy of literally your worshiping Him, your serving Him? Do you view Him as a giver or as a taker? Do you view Him as one who has expectation on you that you can't meet? Do you view God as one who has a lot of rules? Do you view Him as weak? Do you view Him as strong? I'm just giving you some words to kind of like help you jot down. If people see God as weak, passive, or unnecessary, their lives will reflect it. If people view God as just a check mark, like, yeah, I said my salvation prayer, I got my fire insurance, and they never actually have a personal relationship with Him, it shows. It's literally displayed in their life. However, people who view God as almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing, loving Abba Father who wants to be involved in their life, that shows in their life as well. Okay, so there are different perspectives that our view of God can take on in these areas. And it literally is displayed in our life. In order to pursue an accurate view of God and not lose sight of his true nature, our relationship with him, our result and view of him must come from who he truly is. It must come from the foundational place of who he truly is. But oftentimes we don't stop and think about how we view God. And then sometimes we read scriptures such as, for God so loved the world, and we just say, yeah, we know that. But yet we've never experienced that for ourselves. We've never experienced the love of God for ourselves. Okay, so let's dig into this. I want to give you this exercise. I want to encourage you to do it, and then join me for the next video.